say that you were able to finally break out and get the results that you wanted from hitting balls pretty hard the last few weeks?
Yeah, no, for sure. That was great to have today. Come through with runners in scoring position a few times, and I've been hitting the ball harder lately, and that's usually a good sign. Where there's smoke, there's fire usually. So just trying to stay with it and keep trusting it would come along. Great to have a day like today. It's been a little bit frustrating, and I was. You never know, when days like today might happen. Obviously, tying a career. A franchise record in RBIs. That obviously doesn't happen every day, but even just getting balls in the air, hitting balls hard, it doesn't always work out like that. So really, just enjoy today, but also, really thankful that the guys in front of me were putting up great at-bats. I thought Swaggy had some unbelievable at-bats, laying off some really tough pitches. And, the guys were just, able to bounce back from yesterday and just keep going and keep putting up great at-bats and giving me chances to be able to come up with runners in scoring position. We had some all-around great at-bats as a team today.
Is that one of those things where you have to look up at the end of the day and look at the stat line, or are you aware of what's going on throughout the game?
No, I mean, you have an idea. There's definitely a part of you that is keeping track, especially when Antoine came up after the double, the last time I got on base, and he was like, well, 9 ribbies, that's got to be a career high, right? And I was like, yeah, that definitely is. So I didn't know that it tied the franchise record, but I did know how many RBIs I had. And, I think before this, my career high was like 5, and that was an amazing day as well. So, these days don't come around that often, and you kind of sit back and enjoy it.
How good was it to get this one today? Because you split the series, but this is a series that you probably could have won the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, easily. But they had some great comebacks. Can't take that away from them. But, we definitely understand that, we were very close to at least taking 3, if not, trying to sweep a series. But you know what? It's baseball. It happens sometimes. We're not going to be perfect. So, you try and flush it and come back today. And I thought the guys did an amazing job with that. And, that's going to be what we're going to have to do this whole season. Tomorrow is a new day as well. We're just going to have to take it each day at a time and treat it just like its own. You never know what can happen. So really proud of the guys for flushing yesterday, coming back today, and really going out there and working on all sides of the ball. It was really fun to play today.
When did you find out it was the club record?
I found out right after the game. Yeah. It was told to me right after the game, and I had no idea. So I did. I was thinking like, oh man, it'd be really cool to get double-digit RBIs in a day when I was coming up possibly before Swaggy hit the 3-run homer, and I was like, oh man, yeah, this would be sweet if I could get a couple more out of it. But Swaggy did great. Again, put a great at bat together. Those are tougher at bats just because it's not what we see very often. So stayed focused, stayed in his zone, and did a great job. So was not able to get over the top of that. But hey, it's still really awesome to me all the same. Be able to be in Mets history like that.
What is it about this team that enables you all to bounce back from the kind of loss yesterday or Friday?
I think the maturity that this team has. When you've been around, big league baseball for a while, you've had that happen to you before. In fact, I've had it happen in this ballpark. I think it was like maybe 19 or 18, can't remember exactly the year, but I've had those guys come back from like 9 runs down in the ninth. So, if you've been around, you understand that each day is a new day, and you have to treat it that way. You got to come back and you have to push just the same as you would any other day. But I think that's what helps us is the maturity that guys have, and when you have leaders that aren't panicking after that and are just like, well, that's baseball, let's move on. I think it helps the younger guys to be able to feed off that as well.
So
that kind of the case for you as well? Kind of staying grounded through some of those,
Yeah.
that rough luck? What's the biggest thing?
For sure. I mean, part of you wants to just scream and, and throw a tantrum and just be like, what in the world's going on? But there's another part of you that understands that this is just the way baseball works. And sometimes, you hit balls right at people, and sometimes, you hit a little squibber and you get a base hit. And, but you just got to focus on the process and trying to make sure that you're working on the right things and you're heading in the right direction. If you're not, then how do I get working in the right direction? So, it also helped that usually when I was watching these series, I saw a game from the end of April last year, and as I was watching the pitcher and it flashed up there that I wasn't doing that great at the end of April last year either. And I'm like, we ended up doing pretty well as a team, and, it worked out. So, that kind of stuff, reassures you to just keep grinding.